Hey guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Startup Talks, where I tell you the ins and outs of entrepreneurship. Now, you can find 1,001 videos on why you should become an entrepreneur, and so I'm making this video so that when you make a decision, it's an informed decision. So basically today I'm going to talk about why you shouldn't become an entrepreneur. And I've got 3 main reasons. The first one is it's hard. Secondly, it's time consuming. And lastly, it's risky. Now let's start from the top here. It's hard. Not only are there time constraints and a lot of your efforts are going towards making this thing happen, but when I say it's hard, I mean physically, mentally, and psychologically, and for some people even spiritually. Let me explain. Maybe you've seen someone achieve great things and they get an award, and at that award ceremony they make some kind of a speech, and in that speech they might even tear up when it comes to the point where they say, "I sacrificed so much." Sniff sniff. A regular person will look at that and think, oh yeah, they sacrificed, time, maybe time with the kids, and they probably worked really hard so they didn't sleep much. And I get it, that's what they're sacrificing. And that's true. But that's not why they're crying. They're crying because not only do they sacrifice their time and their money, in some cases they had to sacrifice their integrity, their beliefs. Right? Let me explain. If you want your business to be where you envision it in the future, maybe the people you start out with aren't right for the job when the company grows. Maybe you have to fire a friend. Maybe you have to fire a family member. That takes its toll. Sometimes you might have to pick profit over environmental reasons. Sometimes you have to make a decision for the business that might go against your beliefs. And it's not always 100% your choice, because you might be your own boss, but you are accountable to your shareholders. So if they're not happy, it's not going to be a good company. So these are the decisions you have to make. And if you go into it not knowing that these decisions may come across your table someday, and if you're going to make it big, they will all come across your table someday, you are just going to be overwhelmed at the time. And that's why they tear up. That is why entrepreneurs and successful people cry when they're giving their thanks. It's hard. Another reason why it's hard, if you're working for someone, as long as the job gets done, you go to work, you just do whatever they tell you to do for that time being, 9 to 5, and after that you're a free person, right? And even if you slacked off a bit at work, they might not notice. In a company that you own, if you decide, I'm taking a day off, I'm taking a break, I'm going to give some time to myself, nothing gets done. It's all on you. It's fine and dandy, you can make that decision, but nothing is going to move forward. You do have the freedom, but you don't have the progress. It's like saying, I don't have to go to school every day, but then still trying to pass, right? You can not go to school, but chances of you passing go down every day you don't. That's how it is in business. Okay, second point, it's time consuming. Now, this is for those people who say, I want to become an entrepreneur so that I have the freedom to pick what I do, when I do it, however I want to do it, and I have free time. If you want free time, you should not be an entrepreneur, right? Because when you get free time, you get it when you've already worked hard, when you've already made it, and now your business or company, whatever you're doing, is running on its own. It doesn't need you anymore. That's when you can have free time. Until that time, you cannot have free time. But you can choose. You can choose whatever 20 hours of the day you want to work. You can choose whether that's going to be in the morning to the evening, or from the evening to the morning, or sometimes both. You have that choice. So basically, there's no way out of working hard and working long hours. You can get a team so that you at least distribute the time, but you're still going to be working a lot of hours, especially if you're balancing another life, especially if you're balancing, like, I am going to school, right? So that's a conflict, right? If you're working, that's a conflict. Maybe you have another business, that's also a conflict. Even your hobbies can come in the way. Your children, right? Their hobbies. Your spouse or your significant other, they can get in the way as well. And I'm not saying that's always a bad thing to have those other things. Friends and family are good. But you gotta understand, in terms of time in the day, you only have so much, and you have to get stuff done. So that's all you got. But if you want less hours, just get a job and work part-time or full-time. And at 5 I clock out, right? At 9 I clock in, at 5 I clock out, and you're done. Last thing. It is risky. Very risky. And especially depending on your age and what area in your life you're in. For example, I am turning 21 in a couple days. I live in my parents' house. I don't have big obligations, no kids or anything like that. So I could say that my risk level can be a lot higher because I don't have so many obligations. But I still have student debt, right? I still have student debt. I'm still going to school. And if I decide to do this and it fails, maybe I've wasted time, which is the most valuable commodity of all. If you're old, maybe again, your kids have grown up and they're out of the home, and you find yourself, you've got your money and you find yourself again in a low risk area. But everywhere in between, right? You're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, maybe you're in your 50s. At these times, you might have children, you have a mortgage, and they've got to go to school too, they've got to get careers too, or become entrepreneurs as well, and they're going to be asking you for money, right? And then also your parents are getting older, and so you have to take care of them too. They become like big babies, basically. You got your little kids, your big kids, It's a very, very high risk situation. So depending on where you are in your life, the risks can be high. So the whole point is to not make uncalculated, unnecessary risks. And sometimes starting a business is an uncalculated, unnecessary risk if you're doing it, especially for all the wrong reasons. Which brings me to the money side of things. This is also why it's risky. A wrong reason is saying, I'm going to start a business so I can make money. You have no idea, you have no passion, you have nothing. You just say, I'm going to start a business so I can make $1 million in cash out, or say like 2 million, 3 million, 4 million and cash out. You, I'm sorry, are not the brightest person, or you don't have the right calculations in mind, or you just don't know how to add numbers. Let me put it this way. Businesses fail. First-time businesses fail, okay? Right now, I know a lot of people say, 90% or 80% of first-time businesses fail within the first 4 months or so. And that is a gross exaggeration. It's not necessarily true, but in some parts of the world, yeah, okay. In the US, for instance, today, 50% of businesses last 5 years. That means 50% fail, right? And a third last past 10 years. That means 2/3 fail, gone, right? So you cannot go into this saying, I am going to make money, especially for the rest of your life, because you can make money for those 5 years and not make the 10, right? Or 2 years and not make the 5, right? And then where are you? Where are you after that? You've got nothing now. So if you're doing it for the money, you're never going to make it. Secondly, if you're doing it for the money, someone else out there has passion, has drive, has a vision, and they're not doing it for the money. And what happens with businesses is that you go through slopes, right? up and down. Sometimes you make money, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. You have slow seasons and high seasons, just like even large companies have. And those low seasons can make or break you. Even in large companies, they are forced to downsize and all these things just because they had a bad selling month or week. And when you're in that low point, that person who has a passion and isn't in it for the money is going to work harder than you, longer than you, better than you, and faster than you, because their drive was never the money and they keep their eye on the ball. But if your drive is the money, you're going to lose focus as soon as you're not making any money. You're going to be distracted, you're going to doubt yourself, you're going to stumble, you're going to be afraid of taking the risks that are necessary, and you're just going to flat out fail. Going into this for the money is not the way to go. Making money, however, while in this business or in this entrepreneurship startup life is good. You should be making money if you're running a business, but you shouldn't be running a business solely to make money. Entrepreneurship is a delicate balance of providing value to customers to make yourself wealthy. If you're not helping someone or offering a service or offering something useful or value in exchange for your success, it's kind of like the better others do, the better you do. If that's not happening, you're not an entrepreneur. You can go and invest in stocks. You're not helping anyone. You're not doing anything really. I mean, okay, you're helping the company you invest in, but really, are you really doing much? No, you're not doing much, okay? And you make money that way, fine. Kudos to you, but don't call yourself an entrepreneur. You may be just, self-employed, but that's not what entrepreneurship is about. Entrepreneurship is about having a lasting impact on society. And so that is why overall it's really risky, because you just don't know. The unknowns are all over the place. And that about wraps it up over here. Those are the reasons why you shouldn't become an entrepreneur. But if you are that person who watched this, heard what I was saying, and you still said, you know what, I don't care. Now I know the risks, or I already knew the risks, I'm gonna do it anyways. You, my friend, are an entrepreneur. You kind of have to be a little bit crazy, a little bit delusional, and see the world how you want to see it. And so that's all I have for you today. I will see you next time on Startup Talks, and we will have a fun time. Goodbye.